I knew I was a writer when I was in my 20s, but I destroyed everything I wrote. I worked many temporary jobs, part-time jobs in New York City. So when I was a taxi driver in New York City, I wrote, I don't know, maybe 1,000 poems. I would write during the day. I would have an idea. I would stop my cab, pull over, and then write a line or 2 lines, and then I would complete the poem at the end of the day, and always before I went home, I would destroy the poem.
Everybody's talking at me. I don't hear words they're saying, only the echoes of my mind.
Only when I had stopped drinking, I stopped drinking in 1986, probably 1990 is when I began to write and to not destroy it. I found my father's typewriter, and I found some paper, a ream of legal yellow typing paper, and I put the paper in the typewriter, and I said, well, maybe I'll try to write something, because this was my father's typewriter, this was his paper.
I'm skipping over the ocean like a stone.
When I write, my writing and my work is basically autobiographical fiction. I write and I begin with an idea and a direction. I start out at a street and I'm not sure which way it will turn, and as soon as I begin, the story begins to tell me the direction to go.
Well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. A fantabulous night to make romance neath the cover of October skies.
Chump Change, Angela Pezze, is my favorite because it was the first book and because it saved my life to write the book. I was very suicidal, very upset, and it allowed me to concentrate on something other than my thoughts. For years, I thought that talking to the gods was an exercise done privately, under distant stars, ridiculous, unrequited prayers made while staring at old, cold books with mean small print. But then I discovered that just ain't it at all. God can be found in the thank you voice of the guy at the counter at the supermarket, or the quietness of a stranger's parking lot smile, or the rattle of weeds across a dry summer Mojave, or watching my unfettered fingers jumping across the computer keys deep in the middle of typing 3 hours worth of unscrubbed truth. God for me has turned out to be a conscious choice, a self-evoked experience, just like love. Is more important to tell the truth. There's something, when I write, something in the message that is important for me to tell the reader. Something about themselves, something that is my experience. I am saying, I am like you. My favorite music from when I was a boy. It was almost a spiritual experience for me. Richard Penniman, who's called Little Richard, he did a couple of tunes, and I had an emotional experience when I listened to Richard Penniman. There's a blues musician from the 40s and 50s called Jimmy Reed. And also, later, Van Morrison was wonderful for me.
It's a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above your head.
My first book was published here by Marcos y Marcos, and I did a tour, many cities. I was in Milano, and then all the way to Palermo, and then in Rome. When I was in Torino, and I was in the presence of the Shroud, which is very moving for me, very moving for me. The people of Abruzzo and the people of Torricella Poligna are very beautiful, simple, open, honest, decent people. And it's very emotional because they open their heart to me. So this really is my home in Italy, is Torricella Poligna. I'm very grateful to my Facebook fans. I thank you for honoring my work and my thoughts and supporting what I do. I am very grateful. I'm very grateful.
Thank you.
If you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, take that highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. It winds from Chicago to LA. It's more than 2,000 miles all the way. Say you get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks.